All right, welcome everybody. Back for another Bantam Grand Forks Aviators broadcast. Tough one yesterday against the Angels. Fell pretty short in that one, but look to right the ship again here today against the Fargo Freeze. They are sitting currently at the bottom of the East Pool standings, so this is a big game for the Aviators. There seems to be kind of three teams at the top of the standings separating themselves here from the rest, and then the four teams at the bottom that are kind of jockeying for position, battling for that fourth, fifth position. So these games are going to matter pretty big for the standings here, as the Aviators sitting fourth currently. But teams like the other Grand Forks team, this Fargo team, are right there, right behind them. So need to keep battling, win these games. Don't take them lightly, even though they know the standings, where these teams sit. So don't want to give away any points and not needed here, because it will matter when it gets to the state tournament. Not sure how that's all going to break down, if they're going to separate them into two pools, if they're going to have them play all in one tournament, just one giant tournament. That is to be determined. So you want to set yourself up as best you can going into the selections, finding out who you play first and all that. Definitely don't want to run into the top teams right away, rather work your way up. But either way, got about 2 minutes, 15 seconds here left of warm-ups, and then we'll get this game underway. Looks like everybody is out there for the Aviators. So full squad. I'm just checking to see. No East and Green now, I guess I should say. So Aviators going to be one man short on the defensive side. He did get checked from behind pretty hard yesterday, which led to a 2-minute penalty. I'm not really sure how that worked out, but either way. And then he didn't play much the rest of that second period, I don't believe, and then didn't even come out for the third. So Aviators down one man on the defensive side, so they'll rotate partners, won't be able to play with their normal defensive pairs, so we'll see lots of different defensive combinations here out of the Aviators. As the clock ticks down, we're getting closer to that 1 minute left to go here in warm-ups, then we'll get the puck picked up and get this game underway. These two teams played a few weeks ago down in Fargo, once again at the Fargo Parks Department there, their new facility they have there. Aviators coming up short in that one, losing 5-2. Pretty rough game for the Aviators. Didn't really get much going. Didn't have a lot of jump in that one. Aviators haven't had a lot of success in that arena, but we're back up here at home, so hopefully the tables will turn a little bit and the Aviators will have a little more success, and they can come out and get buzzing early against this team. I think they'll have a lot better chance than they did in the last go around. So we got about 30 seconds here. We'll get the pucks picked up and then we'll get this game underway. All right, all the pucks are picked up on the Fargo end. Just waiting for the Aviators here. Ref is checking the net. Teams will gather around their goaltenders here real quick, and then we'll get this one going here. Slated for a 12:15 start, so about 3 minutes. Should be able to get everything lined up by then, I would hope. The Aviators are down in their corner around their goaltender there. It's hard to see. These fans are still filtering in here, but we'll head to the face-off dot here real shortly. And get our starting five out there for the Aviators. There they go, headed to the bench. Starting five should be headed out here real soon. We'll see Dom Norby here in net for the Aviators. Looks like it'll be Nicholson's line coming out for the Aviators to start here. Seppi to his left. Should be Owen Berg to his right. Owen didn't think he was going to be starting there, but it looks like he will head out to the face-off dot. It'll be Benson and Charlie starting on defense. Referees calling the goaltenders now. The scorers table, everybody's set. We are underway. One back by Fargo. They push it over towards the scorers table. Chipped up, knocked down by Charlie. He'll feed it over to the near side to Owen Berg. Berg trying to slip around the defense, but Fargo dumps it in. But they had a player in the zone already, so we get our first whistle here, just 11 seconds in. Offsides here on Fargo. We're going to face off just outside the Aviators' end. Nicholson to take the face off again for the Aviators. One back by Fargo. Now push forward. Charlie had his pocket picked there a little bit. Now Benson. Puck's still in the Aviators' end. Charlie trying to defend here. Brought in, went around the net. Centering pass is taken away. Now sent out to the blue line. Fargo's able to keep that one in. Knocked down by Charlie in the far corner. He tries to get up to Seppi, but Fargo steals that away. They feed it out front, but stolen away by Benson. He'll skate this one forward, gets around a couple people now out in the neutral zone. Using his brink frame, gets it over Seppi. Seppi gives it right back. Benson, shot sent on, rings off the post. Comes out to the blue line, picked up here by Henderson, but he lost the handle on it. Big hit there on Shower, but puck's still in the zone. Shower's able to dump it down in. Benson and Seppi will go for a change. Fargo gets control in their own zone, feeds it to the middle, stolen away by Shower, caught up in his feet. He feeds it back to Henderson. Henderson over to Daxon. Daxon skates this one up, dumps it down in. Goaltender will push it off into the corner. Fargo gets on it first, but Yana trying to steal this one away. This one will come out to the point. Daxon with it. Shot sent on, goes off the Fargo defender skate. Puck behind the net. Wyatt and Caden Yana back there trying to get control of this puck. Fargo will have it, and they'll chip it out to the blue line. Big hit there by Caden Yana. He keeps it in. I thought he kept in, but they say offsides. And we're going to face off here just outside the Fargo end. So 15:33 here, first period, 0-0 hockey game. Jordy Shower take the face off. He's out there with Wyatt By and Caden Yana. Daxon and Henderson on defense. Henderson sends it up, gets it over to Caden. Now picked up by Wyatt. He'll bring it into the zone. Down the middle, trying to get through three Fargo players. Picked up by Shower. Shower, shot sent on, goes off the body. Yana behind the net, feeds it out front. A little bit too far. Henderson, shot, goal. Aviators strike first. 15-14 left to go here. First period. Henderson cleaning up the garbage out front, beating the goaltender underneath the blocker's side. Finds the back of the net and gives the Aviators the 1-0 lead. A quick start just like yesterday. Obviously, the people that watched yesterday, that didn't pan out well for the Aviators. But once again, a fast start here for the Aviators. See if they can keep on this pressure as Fargo dumps it in. Dom slows it down, hands it off to Benson. Benson picks it up behind his own net, tries to feed it through the middle. Whiffed on that one a little bit. Fargo gets control. It'll be Kulak that feeds it out to the middle, picked up by Blasky. Takes it away from the defender, rings it around to the far side. Fiala trying to chase it down. He'll steal this way along the wall, tried to chip it off the wall to himself. Fargo stole it back. Here's Mason Fargo in the corner. Taken away by the Freeze. They'll feed it around to the far side. Mason Fargo comes over to take that one away. Feeds it off to Benson. Benson dumps it down low to Blasky. Blasky has Fiala out front, tried to feed it to him. Got knocked down by the defender. Kulak will dump this one around to the far side, trying to hit it to Blasky. Fargo chips it up the wall, and out they come into the neutral zone. Team going for a change, so he's the only player out there for his team. Still has control, sends the shot on. Dom knocks that one away. Fiala trying to get a puck out of the zone here. Comes loose over to Kulak. He'll chip it up the wall, gets it up to Mason Fargo. Fargo, a little bit out of his reach, does force it out into the neutral zone. Fargo gets control and goes D-to-D. Now they dump it down in. This one will ring around to the far side where it'll be picked up by Benson. He gets bodied off the puck. Fargo gets control. They backhand one out front. Comes loose to Dom. Somehow pops up into the air. This one gets waved off. It was in the back of the net. But referee Eric Fabian standing right there waves this one off. Looks like it was punched in by the glove of the Fargo player, so no goal. He's explaining it to the Fargo coach now. Look like they accept his explanation. So we're going to face off just outside of the zone here. Nicholson's line out there for the Aviators. This one back, comes to Charlie, up to Henderson. Moves that one to Berg. Berg dumps it in, down behind the net. Goaltender slows it down for his defense. The Aviators pouncing on it right away. All three players down there. Berg out front, waiting for this pass. Gets a shot and a goal. Beautiful pass there by Seffi. Finding Berg standing alone out front. Berg able to get enough stick on it, slips it in the far side, just inside the pipe. And the Aviators have a 2-0 lead. That one's got to hurt for Fargo, especially after they thought they just scored, but goal called off because of the use of the hand. And the Aviators turn it into a goal of their own, taking a 2-0 lead here with 13:32 to play in the first period. Jordy Shower and his crew out there with Wyatt and Caden. Fargo gets control of the face-off. This one picked up by Henderson. He's out there with Charlie. Misplayed that one a little bit. Henderson gets it back. Feeds it over to Wyatt. Wyatt gets bodied off the puck. Fargo gets control of it again. Nice play there by Yana, getting in the way of the skater. Miedema over to Henderson. Henderson getting tripped up a little bit. Gets it up to Wyatt. Fargo gets control, but stolen away by Shower. Here's Shower. Brings it into the zone. Cutting through the middle, trying to get around everybody. Had the puck on a string there, but lost the handle at the last minute. And Fargo will work this one out into the neutral zone. Trying to feed it to the middle there. Fargo follows it up, gathers it up. Puck loose here, picked up by Charlie. He'll get over the red line, just dump it down in as he takes a body check. He'll head off. Dangerous pass there through the zone, but it works out for Fargo as they get this one through the neutral zone. Dump it down in. Daxon trying to gather this one up along the boards. Like he will. He backhands it up the wall, but that's sealed off by a Fargo defender. Fargo get control of it again in the corner. Trying to feed it out front. Fiala came in there and gave a little shove. Now it's Mason Fargo. Chips it out of the zone. He'll chase this one down. One-on-one with the Fargo defender. Brings it in. Trying to slip around the defenseman. Got it caught up in his skates. Nice defensive play there by Fargo. Blasky came down the wall, shot that one up front, but nobody home. Aviators doing a good job of swallowing up the Fargo players as they come through the neutral zone, not allowing them to do much with it. Fargo brings this one, Mason Fargo that is, brings this one back, but stolen away. Bree's doing a good job there of not putting too many men on the ice. The player was already over the boards, but not on the ice. As it touched the player going off, that would have been too many men if the person had jumped on. There's Mason Fargo, assistant captain of this team, trying to make a move, chipped it up into his own bench here. And we're going to face off right in front of the Aviators bench. So 11:31 to go here, 11:30 I guess. First period, 2-0 lead here for the Aviators. They seem to have a little extra step today than they did yesterday. Nicholson taking the face off out there with Berg. And Newbert picked up by Benson. Slips around one player, cuts it to the middle, dumps it down in. Glove down by Fargo. They'll just dump this one down. Not hard enough for icing, though, as Charlie will chase this one down in the corner. Goes behind his own net, takes a look. Sends it up to Benson. Looks like he might have whiffed on that one. I think the puck rolled on him a little bit. We are on youth ice, so we will get a resurfacing here after the first period. Shots it on there. Big save by Dom. Another attempt. Dom makes the save on that one as well. Picked up by Berg in the corner, feeds it forward, gets it to Steffi, goes off her skate, goes off a Fargo player's skate as well, so no icing. Steffi will be the first one down there. She chases it down behind the net. She works it to the middle. It's over to Benson. Benson runs into a Fargo player and loses the handle on that one. It'll be Berg along the wall over there. Nicholson comes in and digs it out. He chips it back out to Miedema. Miedema takes a look. Sends a shot on net. Tipped out by Steffi. Now Berg. And another goal here for the Aviators. Not sure who scored that one. I think it might have been Berg. Could have been Steffi. Everybody was batting at it, but it looks like Berg will be the first one to go through the line there. So I'm going to say it was Berg. He gets his second goal of the game and gives the Aviators a 3-0 lead here. 10.5 minutes to play. First period, 3-0 lead for the Aviators. Out comes Showers, line out there with Wyatt and Caden. Tied up at the dot. Trying to dig this one loose. Looks like it'll come to the freeze as they'll skate this one in. Henderson slides over trying to put a body on the player. That one just missed the far post. That was outstretched there, but it went harmlessly into the corner. Now picked up by Shower in the corner. Slips away, feeds it up to Jana. Lost in his skates. Freeze, steal it back. Henderson gets a big hit in the corner. Now Jana gets knocked down. Henderson feeds it up to Wyatt. Back to Henderson. Henderson will skate this one out to the blue line. Freeze will bring it right back in, but it looks like it was offsides. And we'll face off here just outside the Aviators' end. So it was Owen Berg they're crediting with that goal. They're giving assist to Seffi, so just like the second goal, Berg from Seffi Newbert. Freeze will dump this one in, stopped there by Daxon partially. Sent up the wall, sealed off by Wyatt. Battle for it along the boards, comes loose up to Shower. He feeds it up to Wyatt. Wyatt out of the zone with some speed down the near side. Cuts it through the middle, almost beat the defender. Freeze are able to chip it out. It'll come loose to Benson. Benson will send it through the middle to Kulak. Kulak will dump this one in. Aviators going for a change. Kulak the only one on the ice right now for the Aviators. Fargo having a tough time getting this puck out. They'll chip it up the wall. It comes loose to Fiala. He elects to dump it down in the corner back to Blasky. Sent up the wall over to Fargo. He feeds it back to Charlie. Charlie over to Fiala. Fiala trying to send one up the wall. Got tied up in his skates. Mason Fargo comes over. Kulak slides up. He'll elect to just dump this one down. It comes to Blasky. Jumps over his stick though. It goes all the way around. Fiala will slow this one down along the wall. He takes a shot, but that gets blocked. Fargo will slip this one out into the neutral zone. They'll dump it down the ice. And that'll go for icing on the freeze. So we'll head back down into their end for a face-off. So 8:46 to go here. First period, 3-0 lead for the Aviators. Fiala's line out there with Blasky and Mason Fargo. Miedema and Henderson on defense. Fiala will take the face off here for the Aviators. Fargo short a player here, so they're sending out another one to even things up here, 5-on-5. Stolen away here by Fargo. Freeze, they skate this one back, dump it down into the corner. This one will go behind the net, picked up by Henderson. Henderson sends it up the wall, trying to get to Mason. Fargo comes out to the point, shots it on through traffic, stopped there by Miedema, never got to Dom. Blasky trying to get that one out, goes off a skate. Freeze work it down in the corner, trying to steal this one away. They'll get control. They have a player wide open out front, but a nice job by Mason Fargo on the backside to swallow that up. Shot sit on, tipped away by Henderson. This one picked up by Henderson. Feeds it to the middle, gets up to Blasky, went over his stick down into the Freeze end, but he's going to chase this one down. Fargo, Freeze are going to be able to chip this one out. Taken down by Fargo, but brought in off sides, and we're going to face off on the far side here, right in front of the Freeze bench. About 8 minutes to go here, first period. Nicholson line out there with Berg and Newbert. Nicholson to take the face out. One back by the Aviators. Berg dumps it down in. He'll chase after it. He'll chip it up the wall. Comes out to the point. Daxon is able to keep it from going back in and off sides, but Freeze bring it down into the Aviators' end. Daxon trying to steal that one away. Looks like he will. Feeds it up to Berg. Berg through the middle, trying to hit Seffi a little bit in front of her. Fargo gets control again. They'll dump it to the far side, down towards the Aviators' end, where it's taken away by Kulak. Kulak feeds it over to Berg. Berg through the middle finds Nicholson. Nicholson lost the handle on it. Seffi tries to steal it back, comes back to Berg. He waits for everybody to get onside, dumps it back in. Over to the near side. Fargo chipped this one out. Knocked down there partially by Daxon. Kulak slides over, dumps it back down towards the Fargo end. Fargo will keep it on this near side here, but knocked down by Berg. He'll steal the puck away and dump it back in. Return down to the Aviators' end, picked up by Kulak. Kulak sends one off the glass. That one may go for icing. A little bit of cat and mouse there as number 5 for the Freeze just kind of let that one go, pretended like he couldn't get there to get the icing. But as we saw that called off yesterday, the ref was telling him to skate. That was the reason he wasn't going to call the icing, because the player gave up on it when he could have made it. But either way, icing called. Face-off one here by the Aviators. Picked up by Miedema. Feeds it up to Wyatt. Wyatt gives it back to Charlie. Charlie down the near side. Backhand hook through it. Nice over to Shower. Shot sent on. Big save there by the goaltender for the Freeze. It'll be Shower out of the corner. Working behind the net. Takes a look. Sends one off some skates. Shot sent on. Another shot sent on. And in the back of the net. Looks like it's Wyatt by this time for the Aviators. A few different rebounds in there, but the third or fourth try by Wyatt slips it through the 5-hole, finds the back of the net, and the Aviators have a 4-0 lead. So 6:28 remaining here. First period, a 4-0 lead for the Aviators. Shower's line will stay out there. He'll take the face-off. It'll be Charlie and Benson on defense. Shower sends this one over to Charlie. Charlie takes a look, sends it up the wall, trying to find Jan. It goes a little bit too far for him. Freeze will turn this one back. They send it through everybody all the way down the ice, and we'll get an icing call here on the Freeze. And we'll reset back down in the Freeze end here for the face-off. It'll be Mason Fiala's line out there for the Aviators with Blasky and Mason Fargo. Face-off one back by the Freeze. This one will be rung around and be kept in by Benson, though, at the blue line. He dumps it down in, but they're going to say offsides. So we'll reset right outside the Fargo end here for face-off. Face-off one back by the Aviators, all the way to the far side, picked up by Charlie. He'll send one off the wall. Blasky through the middle to Fiala. Fiala down the left side, sends a shot on net. Puck loose. Looks like it ended up underneath the goaltender. Mason Fargo is right on top of him, trying to poke it home, but I believe it went underneath his pad. Ref lost sight of it and blew the whistle. Correct call on that one. We're going to face off here, far side in the Freeze end. Daxon and Henderson coming out for the Aviators. Shot sent on by Henderson, rings off the pipe. Came bouncing through everybody, and Freeze will skate this one out. They'll dump it in on Dom. He slows it down for Henderson. Henderson gets it up to Fargo. Fargo to Fiala. Fiala Blasky through the middle. One-on-one, gets around him. A little bit too far, though. Has to go down below the goal line. Stuff attempt, puck loose. There's Fargo. He's shot on, but a goaltender diving save. Keeps that one out of the back of the net. Big save there by the goaltender for Fargo. Mason Fargo basically had the whole left side of the net, but he rolled over, stretched out those arms, and was able to catch it with the glove and hold on. So Nicholson's line comes out with Berg and Newbert. Nicholson to take the face-off. Bouncing puck comes loose. Henderson slides over, gets it up to Nicholson. Berg. Berg shot on. He's looking for the hat trick. Whistled that one just wide over here in the corner. They finally dig it out. They'll come out to center ice, picked up by Daxon. He sends them through the middle, but that goes off a skate. Berg, nice job to come back and help out. Feeds one up to Nicholson. Nicholson brings it through the middle, works it to the outside. drops it off for Seffi, but she got tied up. And Fargo will work this one up the far side, trying to get around Henderson. Jackson slides over to help out. Bouncing puck hits the side of the net. Henderson slips this one away. He'll skate it forward. Trying to kick it out of the neutral zone. Looks like it will come out. Fargo sends it right back in. Berg comes over to help out his defenseman. Sends it through the middle over Seffi. Misplayed off of her stick. Fargo dumped this one off the wall. Slip around Benson. Shot sent on. Big rebound there. Kicked out by Dom. Picked up by Henderson. Or excuse me, Seffi. She'll dump this one down. That one will go for icing. And we'll reset back down in the Aviators' end. About 4 minutes, 18 seconds to go here. Out comes the shower line with Yana and Bai. Looks like it'll be Kulak and Benson out there at defense for the Aviators. Shower tied up at center dot. Benson in there as well, trying to dig it loose. Heads into the corner. Yana comes over. He gets tripped up. Arm goes up. So penalty coming here to Fargo as it's touched by Fargo Freeze here when you get the whistle. So it looks like a tripping call coming on the Freeze here. So we're going to face off down in there. And Fargo player arguing his point, but it'll be for nothing as we'll get a 5-on-4 power play here for the Aviators. 4:07 to go, first period. 2 minutes will go up on the board. Aviators with the man advantage. Wyatt will take the face off here on the power play. His line still out there with Shower and Yana. One back. Shower feeds it to Kulak. Kulak feeds it over to Benson. Benson shots and on rises up. Wyatt tried to knock it out of the air. Had a wide open net to shoot at there. Fargo's able to clear it out into neutral zone. Now back into the Aviator zone. Picked up by Kulak. Gets it over to Benson. Benson back to Kulak. Kulak will skate this one forward. He'll dump this one down in. Goaltender will go back and try to stop it. Comes to his defenseman who chips it up the wall. Shower will steal this one back. Gets bodied off the puck. Here's Kulak with a shot. That one rises up and over the crossbar. Comes all the way up to Benson. Benson back down to Yana. Yana back to Benson. Benson works it towards the middle. Takes a shot. Nobody out front there for the Aviators as Yana tried to center that one, went off the defenseman. Here's Kulak. He'll send one down off the wall. This will ring around to the far side. Yana gets caught up with the ref there. Then able to get to the puck as it's tied up in front of the Freeze bench. This one pushed forward comes to. Looks like the puck's in the Fargo bench. Nobody knew where it was. No, not even the refs. We didn't get also there for a second, but looks like we'll get a face-off here just outside the Fargo end. About 55 seconds to go here on the power play. 3:01 on the game clock. In this first period, it'll be the Fiala line comes out with Blasky and Fargo. Minema and Henderson on at the fence. Fiala tries to dump it in, sends it into the Fargo bench again. Looks like they hit the coach on the far right there. He's holding his wrists a little bit. That stung a little. And we'll reset, do this one again. Fiala will take the face-off. Face-off one back, but stolen away by the Freeze. They'll dump it down into the Aviators' end. Henderson defending. Sends it up the wall, gets to Blasky. Blasky brings it down below the goal line. About 38 seconds to go on the power play here. Send through the middle. That splits everybody. It goes down for an icing call. So we'll head back down to the Aviators' end for a face-off here. Defensive face-off here on the power play with about 30 seconds to go. 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on the game clock for the first period ends. Yeah, all his line remains out there. He'll take the face-off for the Aviators. One back by Fargo, though, to the point. They chip it down in the corner. Picked up by Fiala. Hands it off to Henderson. Henderson takes a look. He feeds it over to Minema. Minema feeds it up to Fargo. Tipped off of his stick down into the zone. Fargo will ring this one around the boards. It'll come out to the point. Actually stolen away here by Mason. Fargo. Bouncing puck comes out into the neutral zone. Henderson sends it off the wall. Now sent up to Mason. Fargo. He'll chip this one into the zone. Fargo Freeze gets control, and that's the end of the power play. So back to 5-on-5. Henderson with it now. Lost the control of that one, but did get it up to Mason Fargo. He tried to hand it off to Fiala, misplayed there a little bit. Fargo has control. They'll skate this one into the Aviators' end. Big hit there by Henderson. Using the hip, putting it right into the Fargo player. Push forward by Fiala, trying to get this one forward. Gets up to Berg. Berg's behind the defense, in all alone. Shot sent. Oh, no, he lost the handle on it just a little bit. Feeds it out front for Mason Fiala, who sends it just wide. Blasky down to Berg, trying to send one on net. This one will come all the way out, down into the Aviators' end, where it's picked up by Kulak. He makes a couple little moves, feeds up to Berg through the middle, gets it up to Safi. But Fargo's able to turn it back down into the Aviators' end. Dom leaves that off for his brother Daxon. Daxon up to Berg. Berg to the middle, goes off his skate. Daxon follows it up, chips it out in the neutral zone. Battle for it along the boards here as Nicholson's in there, as is Berg and Norby. Nicholson pushes it forward. Berg follows it up. He'll bring it into the zone. He gets bodied off the puck. Seffi trying to get over there. Berg picks it back up, though. Two Fargo players collide as we got about 45 seconds to play here, first period. Sent out to the middle, comes loose to Daxon. Daxon sends it to the far side, trying to hit Nicholson, went off a skate. Nicholson does get it. He chips it forward to Seffi. Fargo will bring this one back down the far right side, 30 seconds to play. Berg through the middle, gets it up to Nicholson. Nicholson trying to get control of this puck, feeds it up to Kulak, who dumps it down in, but not very far. This one's stolen away by Nicholson, sends it back in. Fargo's going to try to chip this one back up as the Aviators are getting a change. Fargo brings it in, dumps this one in on Dom. About 7 seconds to go here. Picked up by Benson as he goes behind his own net. Has some space, but not the time. Takes the shot riser up and over the net. And that's the end of the first period. So we should be heading to the locker rooms here to get some fresh ice after this first period. Zamboni will come out, so hopefully you guys can stay with us. We'll be back in about 10 to 15 minutes after the Zamboni break. All right, we are back for the second period. Still waiting on Fargo to come out of their locker room. The Aviators are on the ice, stretching out already. Just waiting for Fargo to join them. Trying to get them alerted. Oh, here they come. So we'll let them get stretched out and warmed up here a little bit and then get the second period underway. It's a 4-0 lead for the Aviators after 2. 17 minutes back up on the board. Shots finally updated on the scoreboard as well. It's heavily in favor of the Aviators. They lead 13-5. Fargo thought they had scored a goal in that first period there, but it's called off due to use of hand. Player tried to hit it with a stick, but got it off the glove. Referee Eric Fabian, former UND player, was standing right behind the net, watched it, was able to call that off right away, gave the explanation to the Fargo coaches. They accepted it right away. Unfortunately for them, the Aviators turned that into a goal for their own about 20 seconds later. That would have been the second goal for the Aviators, but they do lead 4-0 here. As we get ready for this second period, Nicholson's line out there with Seffi and Berg. Comes loose over to Seffi. Seffi dumps this one down into the Fargo end. Berg chases after it, gets there first, sends one off the side of the net. Fargo's able to send it around to the far side, gets it through Benson here. They'll poke this one out in the neutral zone and gather it up. Working on Minema. Shot set on, whistles wide of the net. Centering pass there, goes off of Nicholson's stick. He lost control of it. Gets it over to the sidewall. Picked up by Minema, but stolen away by the Freeze. They get one out front. Defenseman slides down. That one goes off the side of the net. Picked up by Nicholson. Feeds it forward to Berg. Berg takes a look, sends it off the wall, comes up to Seffi. Seffi trying to get around the defenseman. Sealed off there, but does get the puck down into the Fargo end. Fargo sends it up the wall as the Aviators go for a change. Out comes Caden Yana and his crew. Here's Jordy Schauer knocking that one away. Fargo brings it in, and they'll keep it in. In the high slot, shots it on right into the glove of Dom. Puck loose. Looks like he got a glove on it, though. I think he got caught up in his blocker there as he was looking for it. Came loose, but he was able to get the glove on it covered up, and we'll get a face-off here down in the Aviators' end. Schauer. Puck stolen away, fed out front. That one made it all the way through the blue paint. Picked up by wide by on the far side. Chips one up to Caden Yana. Goes off of his stick. Down into the Freeze end. One ref wanted to call it icing. The other one did not as he saw it hit Caden's stick. The Freeze have control. They'll skate this one onto the neutral zone. To the near side. Freeze over the red line. They seem to have a little more jump than they did in that first period. Shot sent on, blocked by Daxon. Backhanded out into the neutral zone. Fargo gets control of it again. They'll dump it in. That goes off a player that was still in the zone, so offsides call there on the Freeze. We're going to face off just outside. Actually, we're going to move this to the far side since it went off a player in the zone. And back towards the Freeze end. Well, 15-18 to go here, second period. Fiala's line comes out for the Aviators. Mason Fiala take the face off. Mason Fargo and Ryder Blasky are his wingers. Daxon has it, backhands one through the middle, trying to get to Blasky, but that goes through everybody and down into the Freeze end. They go D to D with it. They'll work it through the middle. That goes off a stick over here to the near side. They bring it in the zone, dump it down in the corner. Henderson will chase behind it behind his own net. Fargo gets there first. Big collision behind the net. Blasky tried to knock this one down. Over comes Fiala as well. He'll chip this forward. Here's a 3-on-1 for the Aviators. Fiala down the left side. Faked the shot, went backhand there, almost beat the goaltender. Nobody could get a stick on it as it bounced off of his pad. Comes up to the blue line. Fargo will push this one out. Kulak, the lone defenseman back. Benson hurrying back to help out. Shots it on. Big save there by Dom. Kept out of the net. Picked up by Kulak. He's got some space. He'll skate this one forward. Slips around a couple players. Gets it through the zone. Tried to send it into the zone, but Freeze turned it back down to the Aviators' end. Here's a stretch pass by Benson. Gets it up to Fiala. He tries to backhand one over to Berg, but not quite far enough. Fargo will just dump this one down. I'll say no ice on this one, not sure why. Picked up by Benson. He'll send it over here to the near side, stolen away by Fargo. They send it through the middle, bouncing puck. Fargo slipped around a couple players, but Benson meets him at the blue line, steals it away, and he'll skate it forward. Benson down the right side, shots it on right into the belly of the goalie. He wasn't quite sure he had it, but does have it in his gloves there, drops it down, and we're going to face off down in the Fargo end. So 13:50 to go here, second period, 4-0 lead for the Aviators. Nicholson's line comes out, Seffi to his right, Owen Berg to his right, Seffi to his left, Owen to his right. This one back comes to Henderson. Henderson shots it on, but right into the glove. We'll reset. Do this one again. Be Henderson and Miedema on defense. Nicholson will take the face off here again. One back this time by Fargo. They'll push this one forward up to the wing. They'll backhand one through the middle and out into the neutral zone. Over to the near side, dump down into the Aviators' end. This one comes off the boards. Dom elects to just cover this one up as there's a Fargo player barreling down on him. Decides to cover it up, and we're going to face off here down in the Aviators' end now. Nicholson to take the face off for the Aviators. Push forward here by Fargo, cleared out of harm's way by Henderson. It comes loose out into the slot again, but picked up by Berg. He'll skate this one forward down the far side. Trying to get around the defense. Looks like he will. Drops it off for Seffi. Seffi tries to feed it back to Henderson. We'll get it to Henderson. Henderson turns, fires. That goes off the skate. Comes loose to Berg. Now Miedema will slide up and take care of this one. He sends it down to Nicholson, who took a swing at it but couldn't quite get solid wood on that one. And ends up going in the corner. Berg in there trying to steal this one away. Looks like he will. Hands it back off to Nicholson. Nicholson takes a look, feeds it out to Miedema. Miedema shot through traffic. Goaltender makes a save, big rebound. Seffi couldn't quite get a stick on it before it got cleared out of the way. Sent out to the blue line, kept in by Henderson. He sends it back door to Nicholson. Bouncing puck, jumped over his stick. Henderson trying to steal this one away from Fargo in the corner. Looks like it'll come loose to the defenseman. They'll send it off the boards, but Henderson almost had that one. Fargo didn't steal it away, but now Miedema steals it right back. He'll send it through the middle here. That splits everybody. It'll come right to the defenseman for Fargo. He'll dump it to the near side here. Fargo getting a change. This one's sent in, gloved by Dom. He was going to drop it off for Charlie, but Fargo came in on him, and he decided to hold on, and we're going to face off. 12:20 here. Shots showing 16-10. It'll be Showers line out there for the Aviators. He'll take the face off. He's with Caden Yana and Owen Wyatt By. This one picked up by Kulak off the face off, trying to get around the defenseman with some speed. Down the right side, takes a shot right into the stomach of the goaltender. Held onto it for a moment, let it go. It comes out to the point to Daxon. Daxon takes a look, takes a shot. That goes off the skates of a Fargo player back down into the Aviators' end. Kulak sends this one through the middle. Comes back to Daxon, trying to control this one. Sends it to the line, but not in, and Fargo turn it back in. They bring him into the zone, shots it on. Knocked away by Dom there with the pad, picked up by Shower in the corner. Sends it to the middle, hits Wyatt By down the far side. He dumps one in. He'll go for a change. Shower will chase after it, takes a shot, odd angle, off the side of the goaltender in the back of the net. Just a simple old chip shot at the goaltender, hits his hip and ends up in the back of the net. And the Aviators increase their lead to 5 here with 11:30 to play in the second period. So out comes the Fiala line. Mason to take the face off. A little confusion on who scored and who assisted there. Mason Fiala take the face off out there with Mason, Fargo, Ryder, Blasky, beat Benson and Charlie on defense. Tied up at the dot here, sent in by Blasky. He'll dump this one in. It'll go down behind the net. Goaltender stops it off. Picked up by Mason, Fargo behind the net. He gives a little shove to the Fargo player. Blasky with a chance. Just leaked by the far post. And then we get a whistle here Looks like the net is off. So we'll reset things here and get a face-off here in the Fargo end. Fiala to take the face-off for the Aviators. Looks like Fiala had won it clean, but it went off the referee's skate, and Fargo will get control and skate out in the neutral zone, trying to get around Charlie. Defending well, shots in on, big save there, another save by Dom. Rebound attempt for Fargo. He's kicked that rebound out right back to Fargo. They were able to get a shot up, but he was able to make the save. Sent out to the point, now in leaks by Benson. Fargo gets control, but he does a nice job there of knocking the stick away, and he'll skate this one back in. Down the left side, gets the puck stolen away from him. Blasky trying to get control of it, but it'll come out in the neutral zone. Fiala will chase this one down. Fargo gets there first. Fiala using his big frame. Knocks him down. Looks like he'll take a penalty on this, though. Cross check. Did knock the player off the puck and then gave him a little extra. So it'll be Mason Fiala headed to the box here for 2 minutes, and the Freeze will get their first power play of the game. 5-on-4 advantage here with 10:28 remaining in the second period. So an opportunity here for the Freeze to get on the board. Aviators haven't been great on the penalty kill. It'll be Owen Berg and Luke Nicholson out there as the forwards. Daxon and Henderson on defense. Daxon chips this one off the wall, trying to get to Nicholson. A couple players down in the corner there. They finally get up. Puck comes over the near side. Fargo works it down in the corner. Sends one off Dom. Chipped out to the point here, been all the way out into the neutral zone. The Freeze will have to regroup as they flip back towards their own zone. Now they work it to the middle, but stolen away by Berg. Over the red line, chip forward here by Nicholson. Brings it into the Fargo end. About 30 seconds killed on the penalty kill here. Puck comes loose to Henderson. He sends it through the middle, goes off a stick. Nicholson trying to steal this one away. Looks like he'll get control of it down in the corner. Tries to backhand one up to his defenseman. But Fargo gets control, and they'll bring it through the middle. Down the right side, working on Henderson. Lost control of the puck. They'll keep it in the zone, though. Berg got knocked down as they feed it to the far side. Freeze with it behind the net. They loop over to the near side. Trying to get things set up. Sent out to the point. Now down into the corner. Sent back out to the point again. They'll go D to D with it to the top. Pinning themselves in a little bit. We got a whistle here. Not sure what we're getting called. I think it was just because he was involved in a little pushing and shoving with Dom, both players. They didn't call a penalty. They are going to move this face-off outside of the zone, looks like. Well, the Aviators gathered around Dom. I think he did give the player a little bit of shove, but the player was in his crease, causing him problems. Referee Eric Fabian talking it over with the Fargo coaches as they want clarification here. It was behind the play, so I missed completely what was going on. But when I looked back down there, Dom was standing up. Fargo players laying down in the crease. The ref was pointing at the face-off being outside of the zone. Looks like we will get a face-off in the zone here. To the right of Dom, far side of the Aviators. Defensive zone here. Looks like it'll be Ryder Blasky and Seffi Newbert out there as the forwards. It'll be Benson and Jace Kulak on defense. Kulak with it, goes behind his own net, backhands one along the wall, comes over to the near side. Blasky's going to chase this one down. Now behind the net. Benson trying to steal it away. Tied up along the far boards. Fargo will work it out. They'll work it out to the top here. Now back down low along the wall. Now back out to the top. Fake the D to D. Seffi putting the pressure on, trying to steal this one away. Does a nice job and pokes this one out into the neutral zone. Nice individual effort there by Seffi, causing Fargo fits all on her own. This one sent around to the far side, picked up by Benson. Had it knocked off of his stick. Kulak chases it up, sends it right into Benson. Puck brought out, comes to Blasky. Blasky backhands one down. I think that'll go all the way down, but we're back to 5-on-5 hockey here as the Aviators kill off that penalty. But we're going to face off back down in their zone here with 8:24 remaining. Second period. Aviators all over the Fargo Freeze today, 5-0. As we get closer to that midway point of the game here. Shots in favor of the Aviators, 20-12. Looks like the Shower line comes out for the Aviators. It'll be Shower to take the face off. He's out there with Bai and Yana. This one comes loose to Yana. He skates it forward out to the blue line, but not out. Charlie tries to track it down and get it out. He'll retreat to the defensive post. This one's centered. Stolen away there by Charlie. Charlie backhands it through the middle. Freeze are able to keep it in. They send it in off one of their own players. Yana picks it up. He was behind the defense, but couldn't quite get control of that puck. It's sent back down to the Aviators' end. Charlie stretch pass across the ice, trying to find Yana. Beats everybody down to the line, and then we'll get an icing call. And a face-off back down the Aviators' end. So 7:59 to go here, second period. Shower to take the face-off for the Aviators. Bouncing puck, Yana pokes it out, but Freeze get control. They work it to the middle, shot sent on, that gets blocked. Picked up by Shower. Chips up the wall, trying to get it to Yana. Freeze defenseman gets there first. Dropped off at the blue line. They'll go D to D with it here. Bai almost stealing that one away as they'll skate this one forward down the far side. Nice job by Henderson defending there along the wall. Picked up by the Freeze. Backhanded to the defenseman. They'll dump this one down. He'll come around to the near side. Picked up by Fargo. They'll send it back out to the point. Chip down the wall. Sent to the middle. Loose puck comes rolling in on Dom. He gets that one covered up. And we're going to face off here in the Aviators' end. 7:17 to go, second period. It'll be the Fiala line coming up for the Aviators. He's out there with Ryder Blasky and Mason Fargo. Looks like it'll be Daxon and Jace Kulak playing defense here for the Aviators. To keep an eye on that matchup. Daxon and Jace both like to skate this puck up, so one of them has to stay home while the other one goes. We'll see how that works out, but Fiala brings this one up the near side. Had it knocked off of his stick. Mason Fargo comes over. Aviators able to get that on the neutral zone, but Fargo pushes it back down, but a hand pass here on Fargo, and we will get a face-off back down in the Freeze end here. Mason Fiala to take the face-off. One back comes to Kulak. Kulak dumps one down, brings it around to the far side. Looks like Freeze are going to get on this first. Nice job by Fiala. Daxon tried to keep it in. He was a little bit behind the blue line. Should have been up on that blue line. But it did come out and go right back in, so a quick offsides call. One over. Freeze moving that winger over so they could win that right away. Trying to get around the defense. Sealed off here by Daxon. Feeds it up to Blasky, but it comes out to the point. Chip forward here by Fiala out into the neutral zone. Fargo returns it right back to the Aviators' end, brings it in. They work it to the high slot, trying to get a shot off, but shoved away there by Mason Fargo. They have to just dump it down in. Kulak chases after it. Now Mason Fargo down, go two Aviators in the corner. Centering pass blocked away there by Daxon. As this one comes out with Kulak down the right side, takes a look, shots it on, blocked away by the goaltender, picked up by Mason Fiala. He likes to dump it down in. I got caught up by the winger here along the wall. He was knocked off the boards here by Fiala. He sends one towards Blasky. Blasky comes bouncing out just right, trying to get a shot off. Mason Fargo feeds one through the middle. Comes to Blasky. Blasky shot on. That goes up and over the net. Near side. Out to the point, kept in by Miedema. He'll dump it back down into the corner. Picked up by Fargo behind the net. Drops it off for Fiala in the corner. Fiala back out to Miedema. Miedema takes a look, feeds it back to Fiala. That went underneath his stick. Fargo pushes it back up to Fiala. Fiala back down to Fargo. Fargo to the middle, trying to find Blasky out front. That goes through everybody and comes out in the neutral zone. And Benson will grab it as the forwards go for a change. This one's sent up to Sefiev. She comes off the bench, dumps it down into the Fargo end. Now feeds one over to Nicholson off of his stick to the far side. Sent up to the point. Benson. Alexa just dumped this one down in the corner. Gets it to Seffi. Jumped over her stick, though, and Fargo chipped this one up the wall. Nicholson will try to steal this one back. It comes to Seffi. She feeds it back to Miedema. Miedema sends a shot on. That gets blocked by a skate of a Fargo player, and they'll work this one out in the neutral zone. Dump down into the corner. Fargo will get there first. Tied up behind the net. Stuff attempt here. Dom got a stick over. Another shot sent on. Goes just wide. Sent up to the point. Shot sent on through traffic. Gets tipped into the corner. Fargo putting some pressure on now. They dump it into the corner. Stolen away by the Aviators. Seffi tried to send it to the middle, but that went off a skate back into the corner. Sent out in front. Nobody home. Picked up by Benson. Benson over to Seffi. Seffi chips it forward down towards the Fargo end. Misplayed there. Picked up by Nicholson. Nicholson has Berg out front. Feeds over to Berg. Berg gets a shot off. Goaltender makes a big save. Another attempt there. Puck still loose. Looks like it's finally underneath the goaltender. And we got a whistle here with 4:18 remaining second period. 5-0 lead for the Aviators. Aviators turning that into an opportunity off the rush. Nice little play there by Nicholson trying to feed it over to the wide open Owen Berg on the other side. I think it went off the defender's stick. It actually went off the goalie as well. Berg was able to get a stick on it, but at that point it was too late. He was almost past the far side of the net. The Showers line comes up for the Aviators. It was Wyatt taking the face off. Caden Yana out there as well. Comes loose to Wyatt. Hands it off to Yana. Gets handcuffed a little bit. Gets knocked down. Wyatt steals that one away. He gets shoved from behind. Comes up to the point. Kept in by Henderson, but here's a 2-on-1 opportunity. Daxton, the lone man, back. They send it to the middle. Shots in on big. Leg save there by Dom. Tried to cover it up, but Shower picked it up and helped out his goaltender. Here's Daxton trying to pull this one out. Bouncing puck. Looks like it will come out. Just barely, though, as Fargo sends it to the middle. Stolen away by Wyatt by. Dumped down into the corner. Fargo gets on it first. They send it up the wall. Fargo over the red line. Brings it into the zone. Henderson knocks it away. Next try. Shots in on, goes wide. Picked up by Yana along the wall. Feeds it through the middle. Gets it up to Mason Fiala. Fiala down the left side. Tries to chip and go around the defenseman. Sealed off there by Fargo defenseman. Fargo will turn this one right back towards the Aviators' end. Misplayed there. Daxton chips it through the middle. Gets it to Fiala. He chips and goes around another player. Skates it forward. Dumps it down to the Fargo end. Fiala still with it. Round behind the net. Dumps it out to the point. Got Benson a little bit off kilter there. It comes out in the neutral zone. Benson waits for everybody to get on side, sends it through the middle. Over to Blasky. Blasky shots it on, whistles by the far post. Comes out to Benson, keeps the blue line, backhands one down low. This will be Blasky behind the net. Goes around, takes a look, feeds it through the middle, gets it to Mason Fargo, who's out front, but he gets knocked down. Now gets piled on. Here's Benson. Shots in on through traffic. That whistles up and over the goaltender. Blasky sends one towards the net, tipped on by Fiala. Comes loose to the sideboards, but this one will be kept in by Benson. Benson gets hit at the blue line. Chipped out. Benson with control, gets his pocket picked. Here's a 2-on-1 for the Freeze. They come down the near side. Shot sent on. Picked up by Kulak in front of his goaltender. He'll skate this one out with some speed and some space if they hurry. 3-on-2 here developing. Kulak with a nifty move down in the corner. Still has control. Feeds it through the middle. Gets it over to Blasky, who got a shot off. Whistled by the far post. Nicholson sends it behind the net to Fargo. Fargo sends it out to the point. Comes to Kulak. Kulak takes a shot. That one goes off a Freeze player and out of the zone. Benson's got to hurry back, 2-on-2 here. Backhanded out to the middle. Kulak defending the lone freeze players. They're still going for a change. Now Benson's going to get a penalty here for interference out in front of his goaltender. So a power play opportunity for Fargo coming here. Benson will head to the box for interference. So 5-on-4 power play opportunity for the Freeze. 2 minutes up on the board. Only a minute 33 remaining here in the second period. 5-0 lead for the Aviators. Shots showing 23-15 in favor of the Aviators. This one's tied up at the dot. Now comes this over to the point. Freeze work it to the middle. On his backhand, defenseman has to dump it down low. Gets it back, misplayed there, and this one will end up going down into the Freeze end as Berg chases after it. Berg trying to mess up things here. Nicholson chases over to the near side as Fargo brings it down the right side. Working on Miedema. Lost the handle on it. Nicholson backhands one up, comes loose, down below the goal line here for Fargo. They backhand one off the side of the net, get it back, send it over to the far side. Now to the point, shot sent on, but whiffed on partially. They steal it right back though. Shot sent on, whistles by the post, picked up by Fargo on the near side. Try to get around Charlie. He backhands one out, nice and softly so it won't go for icing. Fargo retreats into their own zone. Backhands one up the wall. About 40 seconds to play here in the second period. Fargo brings it in. Misplayed. Nicholson gathers it up. Lost the handle on that one. Gets it to Henderson. Henderson chips one out in the neutral zone. Knocked down by Fargo. Over to Berg. Berg backhands one up to Nicholson. Back to the Freeze blue line. Berg putting the body on there at the red line, but Fargo will bring this back towards the Aviators' end. Under 20 seconds to play. Seppi trying to steal this one away. Shot sent on, blocked away by Dom, right out in front of himself, but right to his defenseman Henderson, who chips it out in the neutral zone. Only about 5 seconds to go as they bring it back in on side. Working down the sidewall. Charlie slides over, knocks that one away, and that's the end of the second period. A little pushing and shoving in the corner here. It looks like cooler heads will prevail. We won't get any penalties out of this. And we'll head to the third period. So, after 34 minutes of gameplay, Aviators leading 5-0. They will start this third period down a man for the next 27 seconds. But haven't allowed a lot of grade A opportunities on the power play today for the Freeze. Aviators doing a nice job on a penalty kill today, better than they were doing yesterday. Able to seal off those cross-ice passes, keeping everything to the outside, forcing them to go down low. Both teams talking it over with their coaches as we get ready here for the third period. We'll see what happens here in the final 17. Both teams need to keep pushing them. Or put the pressure on here. Aviators obviously can't stand back and play prevent defense. Fargo obviously has to find a way to find the back of the net. As they trail 5-0 here, headed to the third period. Shots now showing 23-16 in favor of the Aviators. Feel like there's a few more shots than that, but either way, players headed to the center ice dot here to get this third period underway. Benson will head back to the box for another 27 seconds, then he will get released. So it'll be Seffi and Ryder Blasky out there as the forwards. Henderson and Miedema on defense. Freeze will send out their starting five here as we get ready for the third period. 17 minutes up on the board, 27 seconds to go before Benson's released. Here we go. Fargo with control off the face-off. They'll beat it up the far side, work it back into their own zone, back to their defense. Now up the near side, they bring it into the Aviators' end. Backhanded down in. Picked up by Seffi. She'll go behind her own net, has her pocket picked there a little bit, but Minima comes over to help out. Chipped up the wall, out into the neutral zone. Well, 5 seconds to go on the power play here before Benson's released. Down the left side, Fargo brings it in, they drop it off. Shot sent on, whistles by the far post. We're back to 5-on-5 hockey here as Caden Yana comes off the bench. Seffi and Ryder will get a change. Freeze brings it right back in. Try to center that one, went off Minima's skate. This one chipped up the wall, comes loose to Caden Yana. Yana, stretch pass over to the near side to Bai. Bai trying to get it around, brings it in. They say onside. Sent over the near side by Fargo here. Wyatt tried to push it up. Daxon. Daxon will keep it down low. Fargo will work this one up the sidewall. Now through the middle, goes off a stick. Bouncing puck over to the far side. They bring it into the zone, now dump this one down in. Kulak behind his own net, picks it up, feeds it up to Wyatt. Wyatt centers it to Shower. Shower had to slip around one player coming off the bench, dumps it in, but not very deep, and Fargo pushes it right back down the neutral zone, dumped in there. It looks like offsides on the Aviators. And we'll get a face-off right in front of the Freeze bench. About a minute and a half played here in this third period. Aviators with a 5-0 lead. Mason Fargo's line, or Mason Fiala's line comes out with Mason Fargo and Ryder Blasky. It'll be Daxon and Kulak on defense. This one comes to Daxon. He has pocket picked in on his brother. They come. Shots and on. Stopped by Dom there. Caught up by Blasky on the far side. Fiala trying to get it out. Fargo keep this one in. They hand it off. Shot sent on. That was bouncing over. Another shot sent on. Puck loose in front. Picked up by Fiala. Hands it off to Fargo. He got that one poke checked away. Fargo turns this one right back in. Shot sent all the way through to the far side. This one will be picked up by Fiala with some space to skate down the far side. Brings it into the zone. Lost the handle on it. Goes behind the net. Picks it up. Sends it up the wall. That one will come out in the neutral zone as the defensemen were getting a change. Benson sends it to the middle over to Fargo. That one off of his stick, and Freeze are able to turn it back out. They dump this one in. Dom knocks it down for his defenseman, sends it over to Charlie. Charlie behind the net over to Benson. Benson through the middle over to Blasky. Blasky feeded it over to Fiala off of his skate, but misplayed by the defenseman for the Freeze. Picked up by Fiala. Takes a look, has Blasky alone out front. Tried to get a shot, but a nice diving play there by the defenseman for Freeze. Stops that scoring chance. As Blasky sends it over to the far side where Minimo is cutting down, but stolen away there by the Freeze. And they work it out in the neutral zone. The Aviators able to turn it right back down in. Fargo chases after this one. Over to the near side, picked up by Benson. Faked the shot, carries it down into the corner. Puck comes bouncing over to the far side. Freeze get on it first. Berg out there now, and Seffi and Nicholson. This one's chipped up the wall, comes up to the point, kept in by Benson, takes a shot, but that goes off a stick high up into the netting. And we'll get a face-off here down in the Freeze end. 13:48 to go here, third period, 5-0 lead for the Aviators. Nicholson's line will stay out there for the Aviators. He's got Seffi to his left, Owenberg to his right, Benson and Charlie at defense here. Caught up in the skates. Berg tried to dig it out. Chipped up the wall, come up to the point, kept in by Benson, bouncing puck. Seffi trying to keep it down low. Or shoot it down low, I should say, but unsuccessful as Freeze get control, and they'll chip this one on the neutral zone. Down the far side, working on Charlie. Nice poke check there. Knocks that one away. Freeze stays with it, though. They'll dump it down in the corner. Benson will pick this one up. Tries to chip it up the wall, but Freeze dump it over to the far side. Seffi will go over to pick this one up. She dumps it down. Looks like that one will go for icing. We're going to whistle, and we'll reset back down in the Aviators' end here for a face-off. So out comes Daxon and Henderson on the fence. It'll be the shower line out there for the Aviators. Got Wyatt and Caden Yana as his wingers. Shower will take the face off. Push forward here by Fargo. Sent up the wall by Henderson. Feeds it over to Shower. Stolen back by Yana. Now up to Shower again. He'll skate this one out. Chips it over to Wyatt on the near side. He loses an edge, but picked up by Caden as he comes through. Dangerous play there by the goaltender, almost knocked down by Jordy, but behind the net. It's picked up by Cade. He backhands it out front, knocked away by... There's a penalty coming on Cade and Yana. A little retaliation after the hit against the wall, slashed the player in the mask with his stick. So a high sticking call here on Cade and Yana. And the Aviators will go down a man again for 2 minutes. 12:49 to play here. Third period, 5-0 lead for the Aviators. 23-18 shot advantage for the Aviators as Fargo starts to close that gap. One back by the Freeze at the point. They take a look. Send it down into the corner. They work it back up to the defenseman. Freeze trying to send it through the middle, stolen away there by Mason Fargo. It'll be Mason Fargo and Mason all as the forwards, Daxon and Henderson as the defenseman. Fargo doing a nice job tying this one up along the boards. Killed about 30 seconds now. Henderson trying to dig it out now. Fargo gets it. He tries to dump it out of the zone. This one pushed down low. Freeze with some players out front. They feed it out front, but right into the glove of Dom. Got a one-timer off. About the dot, but not good wood on as it kind of floated on Dom. He was able to get a glove on it, and we'll get a whistle. So 1:19 to go here on the power play, 12:08 to go on the game clock here in the game. Jordy Shower, Ryder Blasky out there to be the penalty killers at forward. It'll be Benson and Kulak on defense. This one dumped down by Blasky for icing, and we'll reset back down in the Aviators' end. Jordy Shower just laughing there at Ryder Blasky for that one. As we reset, Jordy to take the face off again here for the Aviators. Tied up at the dot, caught up in Jordy's skate. Benson comes in to help out. Freeze, dig it loose. They feed it out to the point. Shot sent on over, or excuse me, a pass over to the near side. Freeze looking to get that pass through the middle of the zone, similar to what the Angels were doing yesterday. Sent that one over. That one was tipped by Blasky's stick. They stretch it over to the near side again. Shot sent on, dominated that one. Holm was able to get a pad down. Kulak trying to get this one out. Arm goes up here. Looks like another penalty coming to the Aviators as Kulak sends that one out. There's going to be a slashing call here on Kulak. So a 5-on-3 opportunity for the next 39 seconds for the Freeze. Okay, Nyano will get out with his penalty in 39 seconds. And then we'll be back to 5-on-4. But a big opportunity here for Fargo to get on the board. 11:27 remaining, third period, 5-0 lead for the Aviators. One back by the Freeze. They feed it to the point. Have a screen out front, hand it off though, misplayed there a little bit. They work it over to the far side. Shot sent on right into the glove of Dom. He holds on and we'll get a face off. 27 seconds here before it becomes a 5-on-4. Still 5-on-3. Miedema and Henderson are the defensemen. Jordy Shower will be the forward. Shower to take the face off. One back by the Freeze. Shower comes over and steals it away, ties it up along the boards though, killing some time here. Charlie will chip this one down. Looks like it will have enough for icing. So we'll reset back down in the Aviators' end. Smart play there by Charlie though, just a nice soft chip, killing some time. Obviously he would have liked that to die down before it got across the blue line and didn't go for icing, but 15 seconds here before Caden Yana is out. He goes 5-on-4. Picked up by the Freeze. They work this one out of the corner. They send it over to the near side. Looked like Dom got a piece of it, but it ended up going in the near side corner, and the Freeze get on the board here on the 5-on-3 power play. They will stay on the power play here for the next minute and 30 seconds. This is now a 5-1 hockey game. So 10:57 to play, third period, 5-1 hockey game here. Aviators still leading the Fargo Freeze. They're still on the penalty kill here for the next minute 30, but here's Safi, steals this one away, brings it down in the Freeze end. Big hit into the corner there. Looks like it'll be Safi who gets called for that one. So we'll see what they decide here for a penalty. We'll get a face-off back down in the Aviators' end. Still a minute 18 on the original penalty to Kulak. Referee still talking this one over to see what they want to do. But it will be a 5-on-3 opportunity here for the Freeze. That one wasn't quite as bad as the one we saw yesterday. That turned into a 2-minute and a 10-minute misconduct for the player making the hit. We'll see what they decide here. Referee Eric Fabian headed to the scores table to announce the penalty here. I don't see the... Oh, now they are opening the box. They are going to kick Sefi out of this game. Oh, maybe they're just adding one. Oh, she's standing up. Looks like she will be escorted off the ice. So I don't know how we didn't get one yesterday, but it looks like Sefi will... So a 5-minute power play. For the Freeze here, minute 18 of that will be 5-on-3. So they trail by 4. They trail by 4 here, but we'll have a golden opportunity to put some pucks in the net here as that 5-minute penalty will stay that way. It will not be killed off. The minute 18 one can be killed off with the first goal sent. Lots of space and time out there for the Freeze, but a nice job by Owen Berg. Kicks that one out into the neutral zone. Freeze have to regroup into their own zone here. They'll skate this one through the middle. Berg closes that one down. Takes the puck away, takes out the player as well. Freeze brings it in. Misplayed there. Jackson trying to get control of it. Freeze regain control. They work it to the top. Now down the sidewall. Sent to the middle. Shot sent on. Nets off the moorings here. And we'll get a whistle and a face-off here in the Aviators' end. So 43 seconds before Kulak's released. 4:26 on the major. 10 minutes and 10 seconds to go here in the third period of 5-1 hockey game. Owen Berg will take the face-off. Benson and Daxon are the defensemen. Berg ties this one up at the dot, goes down, picked up by the Freeze. High slot, they send a shot on. Rebound attempt, doesn't get shot on. Freeze do get control though, and they work it out to the point. Over to the near side. Freeze works it down, shots it on. That one went off a skate and wide. About 20 seconds here before Kulak gets released from the box. They feed over to the far side, shots it on. Squeeze underneath the arm there by Dom, keeps that one out of the net. And the Aviators get away with one there. So 18 seconds before Kulak's out. Nicholson comes out to take the face off out there with Henderson and Miedema. Push forward. Picked up by the Freeze at the point. Shot sent on. That one whistles wide. Another shot sent on Dom, lost an edge. Down he goes, but puck's over in the far corner, regains control. Freeze with it, works it out to the point. They work it down the side, looking for that pass across. Out to the point again, Kulak out of the box. Shot sent on, right in the stomach of Dom. He holds on, gets a face-off here. As we're now on 5-on-4. 3 minutes and 38 seconds left to go on the major. 9:22 to go in the third period. Freeze have taken over in the shot department. Their lead now 25-23. Jordy Schauer. Luke Nicholson are the forwards. Henderson and Minema are the defensemen. Picked up by Henderson behind, they're down below the goal line here, tying it up along the boards. Freeze trying to dig this one out. Henderson still causing him problems. Freeze will get control of it. They'll work it up the sideboard. Now trying to feed it out to the point. The defenseman will work this down the side. Backhands it back out to the defenseman. Misplayed there at the blue line out into the neutral zone. Freeze will have to regroup. They work it to the far side. Misplayed again. Charlie will pick it up. He jumps this one down. That'll go off a Freeze player, so no icing. Nicholson will chase after him. Freeze bring it back through the neutral zone. 3-on-2 into the zone. Push through the middle. That one goes all the way through. Sent out front. Kulak doing a nice job of defending. Daxon in the corner trying to poke this one forward. He'll get this one forward. He'll overskates it a bit. Stays with it, though. Freeze get control. They slow things down. Still 2.5 minutes to go on the major. Sent down the sidewall. Back out to the point. Freeze work it down below the goal line. Looking for something to shoot at. They send it over to the far side, but a Freeze player had knocked down into the post and knocked the net off. So a whistle comes, and we're going to face off here in the Aviators' end. 2:21 to go on the major. 8:05 left in the game here. It's a 5-1 hockey game. Aviators leading the Freeze. The Freeze looking to cut into that lead here on this major penalty. So far, Aviators doing a good job. It was 5-on-3 for the first minute 18 of it. We were able to kill that off. They've done a nice job of killing the other half of this so far. Blasky and Mason Fargo out there to be the forwards. Kulak and Daxon out are on defense here. That one sent on down. He covers that one up. They tried to get a tip on that one, but Daxon had a nice stick lift on the defenseman out front. Didn't allow the tip to happen. As Blasky will take the face off for the Aviators again. 2:15 to go on the major penalty. Push forward here by Fargo. Shot sent on. That whistles up and over Dom's shoulder. Misses the crossbar and comes out to the point. Nice job by Mason Fargo forcing this one out. He has control of the puck. He'll skate this one down into the Fargo end. Loses the handle on it. Allows Fargo to get there first. Big hit into the corner. Fargo with a big hit. Feeds it out to Blasky. Blasky trying to bury that one. And Fargo turned this one back out. Fargo bench looking for a penalty here, but obviously it was a clean hit into the corner. It was not a push from behind. They both just went into the boards. Nice job by Daxon behind the net. Pokes that one away. Kulak comes over and picks it up. Good slash there on Kulak. Goes uncalled. Daxon picks it up. Backhands it over to the far side. Looks like Fargo will get on it first. They'll send it off the boards. Well, looks like a penalty coming here on the Freeze. So we'll go 4-on-4 for the next minute 21. I'm not sure what happened. It was behind the play. So minute 21 until the major's over. 2 minutes up on the board for Fargo. 4-on-4 hockey here. Lots of ice to play with now. Minema and Benson on defense. It'll be Wyatt and Mason Fiala as the forwards. Fargo has control. They work it into the zone. Fiala picks it up, sends it over to Wyatt. He chips it up off the boards down into the Fargo end. Fargo brings it back through the neutral zone, but stolen away by Fiala, stolen right back by Fargo. They bring this one in. They feed it to the middle. Nice defensive play there by Charlie. Shot sent on, finds the back of the net. And it's a 5-2 hockey game. So that will not kill the penalty because it was a major on the Aviators. So we stay 4-on-4. Nicholson and Berg will be the forwards. Charlie and Benson will be the defensemen. Nicholson takes the face-off, one back. They're pushed forward here by the Freeze as they bring this one into the zone. Charlie feeds it up to Nicholson. Nicholson backhands him to the blue line. He'll gather up his own pass. Brings it down into the Freeze end, trying to get around the defense, but had it stolen away. Gets tied up in the corner. Still has control of it, though. Nicholson doing a nice job here. Tried to bounce one off the goal post out to Berg, but it jumped his stick. Freeze gather this one up. They'll feed it over to the far side. Charlie slips up, trying to steal that one away. Berg doing a nice job. Arm goes up. Another penalty coming here to the Aviators. Looks like it'll be Owen Berg for cross-checking, I believe. So 14 seconds before the major penalty was supposed to be over, and Caden Yano, who's serving the penalty for Seppi, was going to get out of the box. We will go 4-on-3 for the next 14 seconds, and it'll be 4-on-4 for 53 seconds before Fargo gets their player back. 5:58 remaining here, third period, 5-2 hockey game. The Aviators were leading 5-0. Nicholson takes the face off Fargo, an opportunity there right off the draw. They send it out to the point, jumps over the stick here. Freeze will have to retreat into their own end. Nicholson will chase after it. Needs to be smart here, can't get too deep, has to come back because it's 4-on-4 now here for the next 30 seconds. And then it'll turn into a 5-on-4 power play for the Freeze. Siana gets this out to the blue line, feeds it over to Minima, a little bit too far for him, as Fargo will turn this one right back to Caden Yana. Tries to pass it up to Charlie again there. Freeze bring this one down into the Aviators' end, 4-on-4. Down the left side. Benson with his long reach, trying to steal that one away, does. Comes out to the point, though. As Fargo will get their one player back. That shot sent on, goes wide. So it's 5-on-4 power play now for the next minute or so. For the Freeze, they go behind the net. They work it out to the point. They send it back down the wall, misplayed there. Charlie trying to steal it away. They'll push it down into the corner. Now they dump it back out to the top of the point here. Charlie doing a nice job of disrupting that pass. Now Yana trying to steal it away as well. It comes loose, but Freeze have control. Yana trying to poke that one. It looks like it will be Shower. He gets interfered with. Arm goes up. Penalty coming here to the Freeze on an interference call, which is the right call. A few parents are arguing that one, but Jordy was going to try to chase that down before he got knocked down as the puck was out in the neutral zone. So we go back 4-on-4 here, 32 seconds before Owen Berg gets released. And that will be a 5-on-4 power play for the Aviators. 4:29 remaining, third period, 5-2 hockey game. The Aviators leading this game. Comes out to Henderson, off the face-off, shot sent on, goes off a body, goes wide. Kulak tries to chase it down. Freeze send it off the wall, get a nice little bounce off the glass there. And they'll bring it down into the zone. Henderson trying to poke this one away. They get through everybody. Shot sent on. Tom makes the save, holds on, and we'll get a face-off. So 12 seconds before Berg gets out. Come 5-on-4 power play for the Aviators. Fiala to take the face-off. He's out there with Mason Fargo. Henderson and Daxon on defense. Freeze get control off the face-off. Send a shot on, but goes well wide. It'll be picked up by Mason Fargo on the far side. We are 4-on-4, so even strength. So cannot ice the puck. Puck comes loose as the Aviators get their man back. Ryder Blasky comes off the bench. This one's stolen away by Mason Fargo, he brings this one in. The far side cuts to the middle, uses his big frame, makes another move, lost the handle on it, ties the guy up in the corner, or behind the net here. Mason Fiala in there trying to dig it loose as well. Gets it loose, gets knocked down behind the net. They try to dump this one out. It'll be stopped down by Daxon. Feeds it over to Henderson. Henderson walks it in, shots it on, goaltender makes the save. And we're gonna face off here in the freeze end. 54 seconds to go on the power play here for the Aviators. Fiala's line will stay out there. Mason Fargo went to the bench, but realized he has to come back out as his line's out here on the power play. Mason Fiala to take the face off. Miedema and Benson are on defense. One back comes to Benson. Benson sends it over to Charlie. Charlie takes a look, tried to send one through the middle down to Fiala, but that went off a skate. Nice shot by Fiala to get back, help out his defenseman here. Let Freeze bring this one into the zone. Misplayed there, picked up by Blasky. Backhands one over to Fiala. Fiala skates this one forward. Backhands one into the zone. Mason Fargo. Mason Fiala chase it down. Defenseman goes behind the bench. Blasky trying to seal off the wall. Comes loose to Blasky. Blasky shots it on. Goaltender makes a glove save, but it leaks loose. Defenseman trying to clear it out, but nice job by Fiala. Puts the body on, knocks him down here. Charlie gets bumped up the blue line. Chipped up the wall. Comes to Blasky. Blasky trying to dig it out. Now it's Mason Fargo. Gets it knocked off of his stick. Benson dumps it down low. Gets it over to Fiala. Fiala up front. Gets to Fargo. Tried to get the shot off. This one sent down as the player was just coming out of the box. We're back to 5-on-5, but misplayed there, and Charlie takes it away. Feeds it up to Blasky. They dumped that one down. Fargo wanting an icing on there, but it did go off of Blasky's stick. I don't know what side of the red line he was on, though. This one's sent through the middle. Fargo trying to split the D. Benson with that long reach steals it away. They'll turn it around and bring it right back. Down the right side, gets around one defenseman. Lost the handle on it. It'll be Berg in the corner, picks it up, feeds it out to Henderson. Henderson tried to one-time that shot. Didn't get much wood on it, rolls in on the goaltender. He'll cover it up, and we're going to face off. So if this score holds 5-2, I believe this was the score last time between these two teams. Just Fargo won that one, and obviously the Aviators are leading this one. 1:48 to play here in the third period. Nicholson's line out there for the Aviators. He's got Kulak playing on his wing now. That Seffi's been kicked out of the game. Owen Berg at the other wing, and it'll be Daxon and Henderson at defense. There's Berg out front, shot sent on. Goaltender makes the save, comes loose. Kulak chips it down to Berg. That goes, or excuse me, down to Nicholson. That goes through his feet. Berg leaves it off for Nicholson. Nicholson will chase it out. They're down in the far corner. This one sent it to the point. Henderson keeps it in. Henderson dumps it down low. Kulak out to the point. Comes Henderson, back to Daxon. Daxon will just dump this one in. Freeze get on it behind their own net, trying to send it through a wave of Aviators. Nicholson doing a nice job here. Sends a shot on, comes loose. Kulak trying to stuff it. Puck still loose. Berg goes down. Goaltender goes a little flop, and I'm not really sure what's happening here. Kulak got knocked down, and then the goaltender flopped like he was being murdered. Obviously, emotions starting to rise here as one player for Fargo is headed to the box, is actually already in the box. This could lead to a power play as it sits right now for the Aviators. Looks like Kulak's going to head to the box too as they call for number 3 to head to the box, so it'll be matching penalties. Both roughing calls. So it'll be Wyatt coming out to take the face-off with Jordy Schauer and Caden Yana. Benson and Charlie Minema on defense. Looks like the goaltender's fine. Got 1:03 to play here in the third period. 5-2 hockey game. Aviators leading the Fargo Freeze. Face-off one back by the Freeze. They go behind their own net. Down the far side, Benson puts a big hit on at the blue line. Picked up by Schauer. Bad pass there, though. Opportunity for Freeze. Little pushing and shoving out front here. It looks like it leaks by the post. Battle for it. We'll have to keep an eye on things here. As tempers are starting to rise. That one's shot on. Dom makes the save. Looks like he gets it covered up. Now here we go. A little pushing and shoving. Benson fired up. So a little tempers here going on. Looks like a player from each team, more roughing calls. 34 seconds to go here. Ref Eric Fabian just trying to get both teams out of this game. It'll be Fiala's line comes out for the Aviators. Miedema and Henderson on defense. Shot sent on that, hits Fiala. That one stung. Trying to get to the bench here as he feeling that one, but Henderson will pick this one up. He'll skate it back down the right side. Trying to get around the defense, brings it towards the net. Shot sent on, up and over the glove. I believe that one hit the back post inside, hit the far post, comes right out of the net. But a beautiful goal there for Nick Henderson, using his speed and his frame to get in on net, get that shot off as Mason Fiala still just getting to the bench. Was able to put weight on it, but had to limp his way over there as he felt that slap shot from the Freeze defender. So a 6-2 lead here. Nicholson's line out there for the Aviators as Blasky saves this one in. He's got about 14 seconds to kill here, but stolen away. Shots it on, shouldered away there by Dom. Nicholson trying to chip this one out. Now it'll be Fiala, or Fargo, taking down a player. Arm goes up. Another penalty coming here to Mason Fargo. Will get put on the books, but that's the end of the hockey game. The Aviators win this one 6-2. And that is it for us this weekend. It should be interesting to see this handshake line. See if they can let things go just to shake hands here. We will see. But a 6-2 victory, one that the Aviators needed. They come out buzzing. Obviously, tempers started to fly there in the third period. Lots of penalties for both teams, probably more for the Aviators, but they find a way to win this hockey game. And end the weekend with a victory. So that is it for us this weekend. We have, I think, only one game next weekend against Grafton Park River, or the North Stars of Grafton Park River, but that'll be on Sunday, I believe, 1:15 up in Grafton. I believe Grafton or West Fargo is leading the East Division, so that'll be a tough game for the Aviators. Need to come strong with that one. But I'm pretty sure that's the only one we have next weekend, so we will see you then if you can make it. Otherwise, that is it for us today, and we will see you next time.